हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं गुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णकरुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। सप्तकांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी भानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंश कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते राधानाथ स्वामी नामने नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमती भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नामने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष निवाद पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे मुकम करोति वाचालम पंगुम लंघयते गिरिम यत्कृपादमहं वंदे श्री गुरुम दीनतारिणम परमानंद माधवम श्री चैतन्य ईश्वरम हरि ओम। दामोदर भगवान की जय। कार्तिक मास जय। श्री भीष्म पंचक की हरे कृष्णा। A very warm welcome to all the devotees. Again, we are so fortunate to be within the Damodar month discussing Hari Katha. It is such a great fortune. And we are thankful to the Lord, Prabhupada and all the devotees who has made it possible for us to discuss Bhagavatam in this very auspicious month. And now especially within the Bhishma Panchak. So the Damodar month is very auspicious, and in the Damodar Kartik month, the last 5 days from Purnima to Purnima, if we count the month of Damodar from Purnima to Purnima, then the last 5 days are known as the Bhishma Panchaka. And these 5 days are especially auspicious. Bhishma Dev himself, I think instructed by Lord Shiva, if I'm not wrong, he observed a very special fast, special observances. So there is a lot of merit in observing this kind of a fasting in the last 5 days. But of course, some can observe a fast, some may not be able to observe a special fast. So ideally, the ideal standard is just have fruits, that to certain kinds of fruits for 5 days. And that's the best standard. But there are many other levels of fasting. But ultimately, Srila Prabhupada said the importance is not just about the fasting. Of course, that is very purifying. But ultimately, the meaning of fasting, why are we fasting? Fasting means we don't want to waste our time in sense enjoyment. But our philosophy is not just about not engaging in sense enjoyment. That even impersonal is true. Our philosophy is that we want to spend that time engaged, absorbed in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and service of His devotees. So obviously, this time is also a very special time to step up our spiritual activities. So just a gentle reminder, whatever ways you can reach out. Tomorrow we are having a nice Damodar program in Kuala Lumpur. We have around, around 100 to 150 guests which we are expecting to come. So all those who are in Kuala Lumpur, of course, all of you have already invited. We hope you have already confirmed. If not, please let us know. So we'll have a nice program. It's nice opportunity for all of us to come and meet together also. And this is the wider group of our students over the years, in especially in and around Kuala Lumpur. So we'll be seeing you all tomorrow evening. So in whatever way you can extend yourself to serve the Lord, please do that. So coming to today's topic, as far as the Bhagavatam is concerned, we have been, a bit irregular because of various festivities in terms of discussing the Bhagavatam and the Chaitanya Charitamrita. We resumed the Chaitanya Charitamrita this week. So we are resuming the Bhagavatam discussion today. We are almost at the culmination of the pastime of King Prachina and Narad Muni's conversation. In fact, that conversation has already culminated. So what part of the pastime remains? Does anybody remember? I had hinted what we are going to discuss next related to the pastime.
The story of the
remembers
story of the Prachetas?
Other than Amit. Amit is eager to tell. He knows. I just discussed with him. If nobody can answer, then Amit will answer. Yes, Amit is very sincere. He and Priya, his good wife, they discuss and read the Bhagavatam very scrutinizingly every day. They're chanting 16 rounds, reading and studying the Bhagavatam every day as we are discussing. So very nice, very wonderful example. Anybody remembers what we intend to discuss today? The title of the chapter is The Activities of the Prachetas. Does it ring a bell? By the way, who are the Prachetas? How are they connected to the story?
Prajna Barisha's descendants.
Yes, Sridharji, I see you have unmuted. Who are the Prachetas? I can't hear you. I don't know whether you are shy or you don't remember anything of what we have discussed for the last 5-6 weeks.
Prachetas are.
What is the connection between the Prachetas and King Prachina Barhi? Who are the Prachetas?
They are the sons of Prachina Barishat.
I cannot hear you for some reason. You are speaking. I don't know why. Anyway, so I'll ask Amit to speak since all of you are stunned in devotional ecstasy.
So they are the sons of King Prachina Barishat, and they were doing austerities standing in the water.
Oh, I can't hear either. Can the rest of you hear Amit? I can't hear anything.
Yes, Prabhu, we can hear.
Yes, we can hear.
We can hear Prabhuji. We could hear Sridhar Prabhu as well.
Problem on my side.
I know they got to do with the net. They don't know.
Oh, look. Amit is saying you all can hear, but I can't hear any of you. So I'm kind of curious because I think you all are speaking. 1 second, just both are connected. Yes, Amit, can you speak something? Let me see if I can hear.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah. Now I can hear. Okay. I saw quite a few of you unmuting, but nobody was speaking. So I thought I have a problem on my side. So anybody has an answer? I'm still waiting.
Sridhar Prabhu was answering that question, Prabhuji. I think you could not hear.
Yeah, for some reason I couldn't. Okay. So maybe you can just repeat it for me, Amit, since I couldn't hear and maybe.
Yeah, so the Prachetas are the sons of King Prachina Barishat, and they were doing austerities standing in the water.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah. So if you remember when we began the story, we discussed about Prachina Barhi, the king who was absorbed in austerities. He's a Prajapati supposed to expand progeny. He sent his sons to do austerity so that they can become powerful to produce good quality children. So in olden times, the process of producing children was not just marriage and honeymoon, as has become the process now. Nowadays, people don't even wait for marriage or honeymoon. Usually honeymoon happens first and then marriage may or may not happen. So, but in previous times, producing progeny was a serious business. It was understood to be a serious responsibility. Anyway, that's a big topic. We have discussed that multiple times. They went to perform austerities. They met Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva instructed them in Rudra Gita. And Lord Shiva left. And they were performing austerities inside the water in the ocean, trying to please Lord Vishnu, because Rudra Gita composed by Shiva but propitiating Lord Vishnu, Lord Hari. So at the beginning of this chapter, Vidura is asking Maitreya, oh, wonderful, you've described about Prachinabari, and we are so happy he got delivered. And he was instructed by Narad Muni, he decided, yes. Immediately he packed up. He didn't even wait for his children to return back home. He said, I'm packing up instantly. He said, when the sons will come. Meanwhile, the ministers will take care of running the kingdom. I'm not waiting anymore. So this is what happens when a person becomes intensely driven towards the Lord. Nothing can actually stop him. The heart becomes just irresistibly attracted to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Narad Muni did the trick once again. He delivered this materially attached individual. Like Narad Muni has delivered so many. Of course, not all of them were materially attached. He delivered Dhruva, he delivered Prahlad. He was the one who transformed the dacoit into Valmiki. So many. There are Bhagavatam abounds with the examples, and there are so many more. So he gave up and went to the forest. And Vidura is asking, what about that story? You didn't complete that story. Please tell us. They were reciting the Rudra Gita. What did the Prachetas achieve by satisfying the Supreme Lord? Definitely, I have no doubt that they would have achieved the spiritual world, because anyone who renders pure kirtan of pure devotion to glorify the name, form, qualities and pastimes of the Supreme Lord will attain the Supreme World. So I have no doubt that they went to the Supreme World, to the spiritual world. But did they even get any special blessing while even in the material world? Because they were sent to rule the kingdom. So what exactly happened? What did they obtain in this material world? Now, this is a question often devotees get in their mind, because they wonder, oh, we will get spiritual world, but will we be benefited in the material world also? So the acharyas explain this repeatedly, that yes, Krishna takes care of both the spiritual and the material needs of his devotees. The only problem for us is we want the material needs to be satisfied the way we want it to be satisfied. That is our problem. But Krishna will satisfy it to the degree that is necessary and good for our overall spiritual progress. So sadhakas are expected to trust in the plan of the Lord. Some devotees, the Lord may make extraordinarily opulent. Devotees, he may just maintain them in a very simple way. So the devotees surrendered to that. So it is explained, so as the answer comes, that the Prachetas managed to satisfy Lord Vishnu. They were under the ocean for a long time, worshipping Lord Puranjan. Now this is very interesting. Just like the conditioned soul is compared to Puranjan, the enjoyer of the body or the inhabitor of the body, the Lord is also sometimes referred to as Puranjan. Why? Because he has created this Pura of the material world and he has entered into it as the Paramatma. Of course, he is not the enjoyer of the material world, but he is the occupier of the material world. So he is also referred to as Puranjan. So the Lord, being pleased with the Prachetas, the 10,000 Prachetas, he suddenly appeared in front of the Prachetas after 10,000 years of their austerity. So just imagine, in the previous ages, Now we start chanting after 1 week, we are expecting Krishna to give us some results. I didn't see Krishna. Prabhu, 1 month happened. What happened? No, tears are not coming from my eyes. We are in Kali Yuga and this is our expectation. Even in ancient ages, 10,000 years, they were absolutely no sense enjoyment under the water, together performing so much devotional service. Instructed directly by Lord Shiva is their guru. It took them 10,000 years for Lord Vishnu to appear. Of course, we are actually fortunate in Kali Yuga. It doesn't take that long because the Lord knows it's a very difficult situation. But at the same time, we should not have any foolish expectations. That this is not, like Lazada delivery. You place order in 2 weeks, it's going to come home. It's not a cheap thing. This is the highest of the highest. So the Lord appeared in front of them, and a lot of beautiful verses are describing the transcendental beauty of the Lord. In fact, the Bhagavatam is full of so many places where the Lord's transcendental beauty is described. And devotees love to hear this. If we don't love to hear the transcendental beauty of the Lord, that means our heart is not sufficiently attracted to the Lord. Devotees never tire about hearing the beauty of the transcendental form of the Lord. It is so soothing. It is so beautiful. Every limb is so perfect for meditation. So it is said when the Lord appeared, he didn't appear in 4 arms. He appeared with 8 arms. What are the 8 arms? Holding. Of course, 4 of them are holding Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma. Sometimes it is said the 2 arms, maybe open. There are different forms the Lord appears, but generally Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma. Another 2 arms is sword and shield, and another 2 arms is bow and arrow, Saranga. So 8 arms. So the Lord appeared. And very beautiful. Again, covered with beautiful yellow garments. The Kaustuba Mani, very beautiful garland, and his effulgence was dissipating all darkness in all directions. A dazzling helmet, surrounded by sages and demigods who are reciting very beautiful prayers. Garuda, who was his carrier, he was glorifying him. And how does Garuda glorify him? When Garuda flaps his wings, it is said Vedic mantras come out of it. He was flapping his wings and mantra sounds were coming. So that is how Garuda was glorified. And very beautifully. The Lord is actually very affectionate to his devotees. And the heartfelt desire of every devotee is to see the Lord mercifully glancing on us. Sorry, just give me 1 minute. Just trying to reach my message. So, the devotee's greatest aspiration, when the Lord will mercifully look towards me and smile. Because once the Lord is pleased and he smiles towards us, it is a big lottery, jackpot. What to speak of the Lord, even when a devotee of the Lord is actually pleased towards us and smiles, that itself is a great blessing. So when the Lord looks at somebody and smiles, just through that being pleased, all kinds of blessings come forward. So the Lord started addressing these Prachetas. The first thing the Lord says is a very, very beautiful instruction. The first thing the Lord says is, I am so pleased with all of you, O Prachetas, O brothers. What am I pleased? You are all the sons of a king. You are all princes. Typically, princes are proud and they compete with each other. I am very pleased with all of you. I wish you all good fortune and I am willing to grant all benedictions to you. Why? because all of you are together, very cooperatively working together to execute devotional service. I am especially pleased by your very friendly relationships. Generally, cooperation in this material world is difficult, isn't it? Is it difficult at workplace? Difficult to cooperate. At home also difficult to cooperate. Husband, wife also difficult to cooperate. Brothers difficult to cooperate. Here 10,000 of them going together and performing austerities. But they were so united in their spirit to please the Supreme Lord. And that's why the Lord became very pleased. Because when devotees come together in the spirit of cooperation to work together for the common cause of pleasing Krishna, that united effort produces such tremendous spiritual potency. It is very, very effective and it is extremely pleasing to the Lord. And Prabhupada would often encourage his disciples, please cooperate, please cooperate. It's very important. Overlook each other's shortcomings, overlook each other's mistakes. Of course, at a practical level, we may have to see whom we get along with and whom we can work with. All those things are okay. But we should avoid as far as possible to create conflicts which may damage the cause of the Lord. And this was such a wonderful example. Prabhupada would often say, if all of you perfectly cooperate with me and perfectly follow my instruction, we can make this whole planet Krishna conscious in 18 days. 18 days. At one time he made that shift. He said, but the problem is we are not on that level. He's talking about that particular group of disciples at that point in time, the early days. So the Lord is always pleased by the united effort of the devotees. And he says, I'm so pleased, and you have such a wonderful example that whoever will every evening remember this united effort of yours will receive my benediction. To fulfill all their desires, and they will get all good intelligence. You accepted happily, not grudgingly. And with great faith, you executed the instructions of your father. And because of that, your glories will be celebrated all over the world. You all will have a very famous son who will also spread your glories all over the world. Because the Lord knew, see, the Lord obviously knows our desires, even though we may have not yet asked it. Sometimes as devotees, we think, I have to go and pray. Of course, we can pray. It is nice to express our heart. But is it that the Lord doesn't know what is it that we want? The Lord knows perfectly well. So the Lord here is not even waiting for them to ask. He's saying, because they are supposed to produce progeny, right? They have come to seek blessing for that. He says, you will have a wonderful, extraordinary son. He's already giving their blessing. And the next thing is, he's also arranging for a wife, how the son will come, who should they marry. So immediately Lord Vishnu starts telling them, that also I have taken care. I have already planned who's going to marry. And this is a very extraordinary arrangement that the Lord makes. The Lord tells the Prachetas that there was an Apsara previously. I mean, the Apsara is still around. But previously there was this episode where a Apsara by the name Pramlocha, she had actually united with a great sage by the name Kandu. And through their union, there was a daughter born, and her daughter was named Marisha. So this daughter Marisha, after she was born, of course, the sage was performing austerities. Pramlocha went to heavenly planets. Apsaras are not good at taking care of babies. When they have children, they leave it with somebody and go. So, not a good option to have a family life. Apsaras are in a totally different mode of enjoyment only. So they left that child Marisha in the care of the trees. So they left her in the forest. And Chandradev, he felt very compassionate towards this girl, that this girl is left, and she's not an ordinary girl. She was a very extraordinarily qualified, but of course a very little baby, the daughter of Pramlocha and Kandumuni. So it is said with his finger, Somadev put a finger into her mouth and he nourished her. How is she going to stay alive in the forest like this? It is said Chandradev poured nectar into her mouth with his finger. So somehow in that way she nourished, and she was considered as the daughter of the forest. Right? If you remember, when we were young, there was this boy Mowgli, who was considered the small boy who grew up in the forest. So something like that. This young girl grew up in the forest, very qualified, protected by devatas and taken care of by the forest, by the trees. He said, you should marry this girl, because this girl is extraordinarily qualified. And I have arranged this girl for you. You are very obedient, and the girl will be dedicated to you, and she's very compatible with all of you. Now, this is very important. In this conversation, as well as in previous conversations, the Lord always says, the girl must be compatible. Because sometimes, especially nowadays, people are so focused on the physical attraction, they do not consider when it comes to marriage how important it is to have compatibility of nature for any long-term relationship, and especially so for husband-wife. And happiness in a married relationship comes not just because the husband is handsome and the wife is beautiful. All these things, they wither. This kind of excitement withers away in no time. But the substance of the depth of relationship is how much they understand each other and how much they are united in trying to take care of each other and affectionately serving each other. And that comes through compatibility. Compatibility is important. That's why traditionally so much importance was placed on compatibility. Anyway, that's a big topic, but Lord Vishnu is saying that she's very compatible. And that's why Lord Vishnu makes a very interesting instruction, because you are all so united. I'm so pleased with you. I want her to marry all of you. So very unique situation where all the Prachetas have one wife, Marisha. Normally, it is not unusual for a man to have many wives. But because a male has a very strong ego, usually it is very unusual for many husbands to have one wife. Also, Shastras generally say that a wife should not have more than one husband unless she can treat all the husbands equally. So usually that's not a very good combination. But Shastras have exceptions. One exception is that of the Pandavas. The Pandavas also, there's a very interesting story how Draupadi said, whatever you have brought, you share amongst yourself. And then Lord said, yes, all of you can marry. In this situation also, the Lord instructed all of you can marry, because the Lord knew in all these scenarios that these men are so united that they will not fight over this one lady, that they will work very cooperatively. So he said, you marry, you produce a very qualified progeny, and I bless you with all strength and vigor. Rule over the kingdom, and you can, without hindrance for 1 million celestial years, you can rule, and with your powerful senses, you can live in this world and enjoy in a befitting way, appropriately. Because the Lord knew that they are already at a transcendental platform, that even though they have a lot of material opulences, they are not going to get distracted or bewildered. See, generally, for many of us, the Lord may not give much wealth. Because the Lord is sometimes concerned not so much that he doesn't want to give. The Lord for devotees may not even consider their karma. But sometimes the Lord may not give just because he feels that if I give this person too much wealth, he may get distracted from bhakti. But here the Lord knew these prachetas are already at a very evolved stage. They know that I am the enjoyer. Bhuktaram yagya tapasam sarvaloka mahesh. And that is why they will dedicate all their activities to me. Yat karoshi, yat johoshi, yat dadasi, yat tapasyasi kaunteya, tat kurushva matarpanam. Whatever you do in charity, whatever yajna offerings you do, whatever fruitive activities you do it as a dedication to me. Because they will always be unaffected. So it is possible to be a grihastha, it is possible even to be a king and be detached and unaffected in this material. But this is possible only when one is properly absorbed in devotional service, in the association of devotees under the instructions of a spiritual master. So such devotees who are engaged in bhakti, they were never bewildered, they are never lamented, they are not too excited about material achievements. For example, the Pandavas, they were never excited about material achievements. They fought the battle of Kurukshetra, they got a big kingdom. Yudhishthir Maharaj performed the Rajasuya Yajna and they became the emperors of the world. They were ruling such power, such opulence. But as soon as they realized and knew, Arjuna brought back the news, Krishna has departed from the planet. He said, our job is done. We are not interested in all this. Yudhishthir Maharaj just quietly wore a simple cloth, walked towards the Himalayas. They were not interested. Because they have a higher taste, they understand material enjoyment is the source of misery. Yehi samsparshaja bhoga dukkha yonaya evate adya antavanta kaunteya nateshu ramate bhuta. We can understand this one statement properly, we can be saved from so much suffering. We can be saved from so much suffering. What is the meaning of this statement? That those who are wise, they know that contact of the material senses with sense objects is the cause of misery, not of happiness. Yes, it gives some happiness in the contact, but that happiness is what latches one to misery. It is a trick to latch somebody to misery. Adyavanta kaunteya, because they have a beginning and an end. And those who are wise, they don't try to take delight in such pleasures. They try to go inside and become Atma Rama. Atma Ramascha munayo nirgrantha pyurukrame kurvanti ahaitukim bhaktim thambuto gunohari. They derive unlimited pleasures by connecting to the Supreme. So after being blessed like that by Lord Vishnu, the Prachetas were so happy. The Prachetas, they were overwhelmed with happiness. Can you imagine, after so much austerity and meditation on the transcendental form, you actually see the transcendental form of the Lord in front of your very eyes. They are faltering, their voice became choked. Gira grinan gadgadaya. Gadgadaya means gadgad. Their voice became gadgad. And in ecstasy, suruttamam, they started speaking. And they started glorifying the Lord. I'm going to go through this briefly. They describe firstly the four qualities of the Lord. I'll recite this verse. It's a very beautiful verse. Namo namak klesha vinashanaya rupitodara guna avyaya manovacho vega puro javaya sarvaksha margair agatadvane namaha. O Lord, you are relieving material distress. You have all auspicious qualities and a holy name. And your transcendental nature cannot be perceived by the material senses. You are faster than the mind and faster than the words. Essentially meaning you are transcendental. And then they glorify the Lord in various ways. They explain about the Lord's interaction with the material world. And I'm not going to go through all the points, otherwise we'll not be able to complete the chapter today. So please read this. And then they explain other qualities of the Lord. Vishuddha Sattvaya. You are transcendental, you are beyond the mode of goodness. You take away the devotee's misery. Haraye, Hari Medase. And your Medasa, your intelligence, Lord. What is the Lord's intelligence focused on? How to deliver the conditioned souls. When the Lord is thinking about the devotee, he's always thinking, now what, how should I adjust? What should I do so that this devotee progresses in spiritual life? Sometimes we think, oh, we are so concerned about our spiritual advancement. But Prabhupada and the Acharyas and the scriptures repeatedly explain hundreds of times more than what we are eager to go back to Krishna. Krishna is more eager that we come back to him. The Lord is very, very eager. Vasudevaya, the Lord who lives everywhere. Prabhave sarva sattvanam, he who increases the influence of everything. Namaha kamala nabhaya, namaha kamala maline, namaha kamala padaya, namaste kamalakshana. The lotus verse. There are many lotus verses in the Bhagavatam. You from whose navel the lotus comes, who was decorated with a lotus garland, whose lotus feet are beautiful and fragrant like a lotus, and whose eyes are like lotus petals. So many beautiful descriptions. And they glorify the Lord in various ways. And they glorify him for his merciful disposition towards delivering the conditioned soul. Because they're feeling so grateful that the Lord has delivered them. Because the Lord first delivered them by sending them the Guru. Who was the Guru? Anybody? Who was the Guru for the Prachetas that the Lord sent?
Lord Shiva.
Yes, Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is one of the greatest of the Gurus. In fact, out of the 4 paramparas, one of the parampara is starting from Lord Shiva, the Rudra parampara. So there are many great spiritual masters. Lord Shiva is one of the greatest servants. Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu. He sent the Guru, and the Guru helped them to achieve Krishna, and finally they achieved Krishna's mercy. So many beautiful descriptions. And they say something very, 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 very nice. They say, Lord, actually you are the super soul in everybody's heart. You actually understood all our desires. So practically, without asking, you have fulfilled all our desires. Not only are you giving us spiritual perfection, but you have given us material, everything we need. You arrange for us kingdom, good body, strong senses, rule for 100,000 celestial years. You arranged wife for us. You have blessed us with a wonderful progeny. Everything. Now, what does this mean? This means the Lord is competent to take care of all of our needs. Devotees are not interested in going to the demigods for material benediction. Akamo sarvakamo va mokshakam udaradhihi ivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. Even if the devotee may have any material aspirations, of course those aspirations should not be sinful, but even if there are some material aspirations, better to approach the Lord. So the Lord will fulfill your desire in an appropriate way, in such a way that it doesn't become an impediment for your devotional service. Sometimes we don't know what is good for us. Not sometimes, most of the times we don't know what is good for us. Even from a material perspective, because we don't know what all will happen if actually our desire is granted. And this is why it is said Krishna is very kind. But the Devatas, even if they give a benediction, they will give without any consideration. They will grant it if you give them the necessary puja and archana, yajna, whatever is to be done. But they will not be concerned what is going to be the after effect. The Lord is very, very concerned. And he says, and the Prachetas tell the Lord, actually, O Lord, we are so satisfied by seeing that you are satisfied. Actually, we don't want anything. Actually, this is the greatest pleasure of the devotee. What is the greatest pleasure? When the Lord becomes satisfied, the devotee is so happy that the Lord is satisfied. The devotee is not aspiring that when the Lord becomes happy, he'll give me something. The Lord gives, it's fine. The aspiration of the devotee, the real happiness of the devotee is in satisfying the Lord. We do not desire anything else other than your satisfaction. But the Lord insisted to them, no, please ask for some benediction. Okay, oh Lord, since you are insisting, correct, just like sometimes a parent may want his child, please ask. The child may say, I don't want anything. No, I want to give you something. Please ask for something. So sometimes the devotee just, even though he has no desire, this has happened with Dhruva, this has happened with Prahlad, this has happened with so many pure devotees. The Lord insisted, please ask. We are asking, the Lord is not listening, but here the Lord is asking and the devotees have to create some prayer so that the Lord is happy that he gave some blessing. So because you are requesting, we shall pray to you for one more benediction. And what is that benediction? That we want topmost blessing. What is the topmost blessing? You can give us an unlimited blessing, and that unlimited blessing is we want the blessing of hearing your unlimited name, form, qualities, and pastimes forever. Didn't ask for kingdom, didn't ask for immortality. This is the blessing that the pure devotees ask. Because they know when they get this, all unlimited happiness automatically comes. Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita has also described this as the state of the devotees. Kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. Correct? That my devotees are always enlightening, discussing about me, enlightening one another about me, and they are just enjoying discussing Harikatha in the association of each other. So we just want your lotus feet, O Lord. What is there to ask for so many boons? This is all that we want, because our complete satisfaction of our heart will be achieved if you just give us this one benediction. And this is the conviction of those who are serious about pure devotional service and those who actually understand this philosophy of Krishna consciousness. If you have actually understood the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, you will understand in your heart without a doubt. At least you will have that conviction. You may not be free from all material desires, but you will have that conviction that this is the worthy thing to ask for and to aspire for. Because then we can taste that sweetness. Swadu, swadu, pade, pade. More than this, O Lord, what is there to ask for? We are already taken shelter of your lotus feet. Once a bee comes near the Parijata tree, which is so fragrant and full of so much honey, why will he leave that tree and go anywhere else? Parijate anjasa labdhe sarango anyanna sevate tad angri moolam asadya sakshat kim kim vrinamahi. A very beautiful verse. Parijate anjasa labdhe. We have already got Parijat. Why will we go anyana sevate? We don't want to go anywhere else. We have got the lotus feet, O Lord. We have achieved that. Now what are you asking us? Ask for something else. We have got everything. Just give us this guarantee that our hearing and chanting of your glories in the association of devotees will never end. This is the insurance policy we want. Very amazing. As long as we wander in this world because of our, maybe there is some karma, maybe there is something, of course, by this time all karma would have been wiped out, but they are in out of humility saying, even if because of our actions contaminated by Maya, if we are wandering around this material world, we always want the association of devotees with whom we can continue to discuss your pastimes. So they are asking for what we are already doing right now. And they are saying, may I continue to have this opportunity all the time, life after life after life. Yavatte mayaya sprishta भ्रमाम इह कर्म भी तावद भवत प्रसंगानाम संगस्यान नो भवे भवे. Sangasyan, we want that sangha, we want that association. Bhavat prasangana, very beautiful. Because even a moment's association with a pure devotee, they say, cannot be compared even to achieving the heavenly planets, or even merging into the impersonal Brahman. Tulyamana lavena napi na swargam na punarbhavam bhagvat sangi sangasya martyanam kim utashishah. This is a very famous verse from the Bhagavad. Tulyamana lavena na api. Even a little bit comparison of pure devotion cannot be done even with swargam or liberation. Neither liberation in impersonal Brahman nor heavenly attainment can be compared to Bhagavat Sangi Sangasya. If you have managed to get the association of those who are extremely attached to the lotus feet of the Lord, this is our greatest aspiration. Martyanam kim utashishah. Don't want anything else. Because when we are absorbed in hearing your katha, your Krishna katha, four things happen. Trishna yaha prashamso, there is no hankering. Nirvairam, all envy disappears. All fear, no udvego. Yatra Narayana Sakshat, because in your katha, O Lord, you are personally present. Whenever a devotee wants to experience the association of the Lord, all he has to do is absorb himself in hearing and chanting the holy names. Because Krishna is non-different from his name, form, qualities and pastimes. That is why Krishna says that I may not be in the temple, I may not even be in Vaikuntha, but wherever my devotees are chanting my name or my katha, I am definitely there. Naham tishtami Vaikunte yoginam hridaye shiva yatra gayanti mad bhakta tatra tishtami narada. So Prachetas are also saying the same thing. We know you will definitely be there. Whenever we want to associate with you, by discussing your glories in the association of similar devotees who have a pure devotional aspiration, you will be manifested in that katha. Your presence can be felt in our hearts very strongly when we glorify you in a pure way. And in that way, we can always experience your association. Even when this form of yours that you're standing with right now in front of us may not be manifest to our eyes, we can experience you and your presence in the holy name, in your katha. And your devotees are so kind, my Lord. Your devotees are wandering all over the world to give their association. Such pure devotees of yours can even purify the holy places. What to speak of ordinary people like us? So those who are afraid of material existence, they are the perfect shelter. Tesham vicharatam padbhyam tirthanam pavanechaya jitasya kimna rocheta tavakanam samagamaha. Such beautiful verses, they're such powerful verses. Amazing. And how did our good fortune come about? We are telling our own example, oh Lord, this association of a devotee. We got a moment's association of Lord Shiva for just little while. He gave us his association, gave his instruction. He transformed our lives. He attained you. Through Guru, through Krishna's mercy, we achieve Guru. And through Guru's mercy, we achieve Krishna. Whenever a devotee becomes sincere to know about the Lord, he starts seeking the first thing, the first favor Krishna grants to such a sincere sadhaka, he sends Guru. Now, some of us may think, oh, I haven't yet got a spiritual master and I'm not yet initiated. That is not the most important thing initially. Even if we are guided in the association of devotees who are coming in proper parampara, we are already achieved this favor of the Lord. Because that itself will lead us to actually taking initiation eventually. So this favor for all of us, we have already achieved. Of course, how much we use it is again now dependent on our sincerity. So like that, very beautifully, they continue to pray and they continue to glorify the Lord. There are so many nice, beautiful additional points. And they pray to the Lord that all our spiritual qualities, whether our studies, our austerities, everything, we are ultimately offering for your satisfaction because we are convinced. Yat karoshi yad dasnashi yad juhosi yad dadasi. We have understood this principle, O Lord, that we are saying. Ultimately, as part and parcels, our duty is to dedicate ourselves to your service. You cannot be understood even by great yogis and mystics. Each person tries to pray to you according to their capacity. But you are very, very great and unlimited. So finally, the Lord, and he hears this beautiful prayers, the Lord is always satisfied by such a humble submission by the great devotees. And when he sees that how much the devotees are hankering for this blessing, they are not hankering for greatness. They are not even hankering to go to Vaikuntha. See all these prayers, what are they saying? Oh Lord, even if we are here life after life, because the association of your devotees and this environment where we can always discuss and hear your glories. The Lord granted this prayer, this ask of the Prachetas. And the Prachetas are looking at the Lord, it's like a festival for the eyes, looking at the transcendental form of the Lord. It's such a festival for the eyes. Their eyes were just looking and absorbing and drinking the nectar of the beauty of the Lord. And they didn't want the Lord to go, but the Lord, after giving the blessings, the Lord departed. The Bhagavatam say in this way, the Lord also showed his detachment. Very interesting. So after this whole episode is over, after the Lord granted them their blessings and everything was achieved very wonderfully, the Prachetas came out from the sea because they were under the water performing all these austerities. And as soon as they came out, they suddenly saw, oh, what is this all around on the land? So many trees had grown. Very tall trees. They were so tall, it seemed as if they are obstructing the heavens. And they were thinking, oh, we need to rule the earth and we need to organize society. We need land for agriculture. We need to do this, that. So they decided to clear the forest so that agriculture can be performed. So they angrily looked at the trees and fire emanated from them and it started burning down the forests. So when Lord Brahma saw that, oh, the anger of these Prachetas is probably likely to burn down the whole forest on all the trees on the earth, Brahmaji came down and said, stop, stop, stop. Whatever you have burnt so far is okay. Meanwhile, the forest trees who had become so afraid that they may be burned down by the Prachetas, they understood that it is now time to hand over Marisha, the daughter of the forest, was the biological daughter of Pramalocha and Kandumuni, to the Prachetas for marriage, just as Lord Vishnu had blessed. So they came and they offered the daughter in marriage. So from this combination of the Prachetas and Marisha, Daksha took birth. Daksha. And Daksha created, the Bhagavatam says, all the living entities for the Chakshusha Manvantara. We are in the Vaivasvata Manvantara. Chakshusha is the previous Manvantara. So in that way, we are concluding this chapter. A very, very beautiful pastime. And again, when you notice the prayers of these great souls consistently again and again, the great souls are always praying for pure devotional service. And the way they are praying for pure devotional service, you'll always notice is they are praying for the opportunity to hear and chant the glories of the Lord in the association. They are praying for something which we have been granted without asking. Prahlad Maharaj once mentioned that in a class, and I was so struck with wonder. When Maharaj said, what these great souls are praying for after so many austerities and the darshan of the Lord, all of you have already been granted without asking for it. Because this is Mahaprabhu's mercy, this is a Mahavadanyaya, a very extraordinary period of giving mercy. So even the very unqualified people get very high level of blessings. So let us remain fortunate by valuing the treasure that we have all received. Let us not become casual about the great gifts and then become casualty in the material world. Let us value these blessings and make the maximum out of them. Hare Krishna. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, because we are already at 10 sharp, I'm going to sing the Damodar Ashtaka, and then if there are any questions, we'll. I hope that is okay. Also, a quick reminder for those who joined late, tomorrow for those who are in Kuala Lumpur, we have our Damodar program in Pines at Poolside Clubhouse Hall. So please join us at 6 p.m. The program will go on up to 8. There will be Katha, Kirtan, Aarti, small dance performance. We'll all have dinner prasad for everyone. We're expecting around 100 to 150 devotees. So if you are free, please join us. We have already shared the invitation earlier. If you need any further info, please reach out to me and I will be happy to. So you'll start singing the Damodar Ashtaka. Damodar month, by the way, goes on formally up to the 8th of November. 8th of November is also lunar eclipse. So just want to mention, please check up your local calendars for when the lunar eclipse is, and accordingly, do the normal precautions of not eating during the eclipse time, taking a bath after the eclipse, and others. I think most of you are aware. If you're not aware, publish those, at least the most basic observances later. And it's in the evening, the eclipse time. It's a lunar eclipse. It's a full lunar eclipse. I think at least in Malaysia it's full. I think in India also it's likely a full lunar eclipse. Namam Ishwaram Sachidanandarupam Lasatudalam Dokule Vrajamanam Yashodabhiyolukhaladavamanam Param Rishtamatyanta Todritya Gopya Rudantam Muhurnetram Yugmam Rijantam Karam Bhoja Yugmena Satankanetram Muhushwashakampa Trirekhanka Kantha Sthitagraivam damodaram bhaktibaddham iti driksvalilabhirananda kunde swagosham nimajjantam akhyapayantam tadyeshi tadneshu bhaktairjitatvam punaha prematastam shatavriti vande varam deva moksham namoksham vadimva nachanyam vrineham varishadapiha idam teva purnatha gopala balam sada me manasya abhirastanti manye idam te mukham bhojam atyanta nilair vritam kuntalai snigdha raktaischa gopya muhushchumbitam bimba raktadharam me manasya avirastam malam lakshalabhai namo devah damodarananta vishnu prasida prabho dukkha jalabhimagnam kripa drishti vrishtyati dinam bhatanu Ruhane shamamagyam nidhyakshidrishya kuveratmajau baddha murtyaiva yadvat vayamuchitau bhakti bhajau kritau cha tatha prema bhaktim swakam me prayachha namokshe graho mesti damodareha Namaste Studamne Sfuradiptidhamne Vadiyodharayatha Ishvasya Dhamne Namo Radhikayai Twadiyai Priyayai Namo Nantalilaya Devaya Tubhyam Namo Radhikayai Twadiyai Priyayai Namo Nantalilaya Devaya Tubhyam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Ram Hare Hare Jayo Radha Damodar Radha Damodar Radha Damodar Radhe Shri Damodar Bhagavan ki Jai Damodar Maas ki Jai Hare. Thank you so much. May Lord Damodar bless all of us by attracting us to Him. This is the blessing of the Damodar month. What is this whole pastime of Dama Udara? The devotees aspiring to bind the Lord with the rope of devotion. Of course, that is a very high stage. But right now, we want first the Lord to attract us by binding us with His affection, with attracting us. Hari, we want Hari to attract us. So our great fortune arises when our attraction for the Lord arises. How do we know our attraction for the Lord is arising? We will know when we become more eager to hear about Him, when we become more eager to talk about Him, when we become more eager to serve Him, when we are more eager to chant. That is the symptom that the Lord is slowly attracting our heart. Yes, so all of you are consistently hearing, so it is very wonderful. But we have to be progressive in our attachment to the Lord. Thank you very much. Any questions? Any comments?
Prabhuji, is he the same Daksha, father of Sati?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It is. Yes. So many of these personalities have had many births. So he was born here. Also, this is what the Bhagavatam says. Okay, if there is nothing else, thank you all very much. So like what I mentioned, continue your lamp offering at least up to 8th evening. There is eclipse. Please observe the necessary precautions for eclipse. Those who are in Kuala Lumpur, tomorrow join us for our Damodar program. And for the remaining days of the Bhishma Panchaka, whatever way you can increase your austerities and devotional service, please do according to your capacity. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Samaveta Gaura Bhakti.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Prabhuji.
thank you, Swati.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Sridharji,
Hare Krishna,
Anita
Prabhu. Thank
Mataji.
you very much.
Prashant, Bhaskarji, thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Srideviji, thank you. Ravi Renuka, will see you tomorrow. Prashantji, I'll see you tomorrow also.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. See you tomorrow.
Sridharji, we are going to miss
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Sini and
We'll be missing
Srini and
also, Prabhuji.
Rishikesh.
Yeah, Prabhuji, we are
Yes.
missing too.
Yes, Sridharji and Bhaskar will miss. They were always very active attending
Yeah.
these festivals. Yes. So wherever you are, you have to now replicate similar programs.
Yeah, sure, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare
So
Krishna.
finally, my travel is confirmed, Prabhu. So I'm traveling in
Oh.
December.
When?
December 12th, I'm traveling.
Oh, 12th December. Okay, we wish you all the best.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Bhaskar is going to US.
I'll talk to you separately on this.
Can. We can talk, yeah, separately. Yes.
Thank you very much for your guidance. Yeah.
Thank you. Ashwin, nice to see you. Hope to see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Sapna ji, Hare Krishna, Anand Sundari Mataji, Indulekha Mataji, thank you. Sneha ji, thank you. Archana ji,
Hare Krishna,
Meera
Prabhuji.
Mataji, thank you everyone. Hari Bol, Ravi. I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay.
Our guest reception in charge.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare
See you
Krishna.
tomorrow.
Thank you, Mataji. Okay, I'll see you soon. Others, I'll